And I have Coach Patrick Shelby of the McHi Bulldogs. Coach, your first season, and you don't get an off season because of this coronavirus. How's that adjustment been for you? With all this mess.
It's been tough. It's been tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. We were rolling with off season there because we started early, with not being able to go to the playoffs. But it's been rough because by this time, right now, we should be on the football field. You know what I mean? Doing some football stuff, going into spring football. So it is kind of tough right now.
This is the point of the season right now where you get to work your underclassmen in, try to work on stuff. You had one of the really good up and coming quarterbacks in Curl. What did you see right before the break with his progression? How's he looking?
He's looking good. He has been working. He was working all the way up until, we hit this and we got out for spring break and so forth. But then after that, he's still working out. He sends videos all the time. He's doing stuff in the backyard. He's still throwing the football around. So it's good to see him doing that. And he's still learning every single day. He's calling, asking questions about tape that he's still watching on our huddle.
Oh, wow. That's a good thing. You want your quarterback to be engaged.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, for sure.
So, looking at this, how does the season look for you? Like, you had a year of growing pains, kind of putting in that offense, and it's worked at both places you've been at Vela and in Weslaco. What did you see as far as your progression this year?
Well, you can see us getting better every single week. I thought personally, as the head coach there, I thought we were getting better, not just offensively, but also as a team in all three phases. This year coming up, we got a lot of guys coming back who got a lot of experience this past season. So I think that's a huge plus for us. Just really excited to see them continue to grow, whether they were sophomores last year or they were juniors going to be seniors. Excited to see them grow.
Your feeder schools seem, pretty good. You have some good athletes coming up. What's the future look like right now?
It looks good. Both of our feeder schools have done a great job. Morris has done a great job, Coach Segovia and his staff over there with Mr. McClenny. And then at Travis, with Coach Romero's, they've done a great job also with those young men. And then, just with the school district allowing us to be able to get some coordinators over there with those kids has been able to help out quite a bit because now they actually get to hear some instruction from that varsity coach, to where they can tweak some stuff at an early age before they get to the high school to us. And then now we get our hands on them and we just continue to help them get better.
The coronavirus hit everybody. Everybody's kind of suffering through that. Did you guys already have spring ball in line, or were you going to do 2 days?
Well, we weren't going to do spring football, but, we have a football phase that we do work into our off season to where we still can get outside and do some stuff, and that's where we were going to be at right now if we were back in school. So, yeah, the virus has, hit us pretty hard, but it's not just us, it's everybody. It's everybody in the state of Texas when we talk about athletics. It's not like anybody's getting the upper hand on anybody right now. So I think for us, as long as we can continue to be creative as coaches right now, and still find ways to see our kids and talk to our kids and make sure that they're following, some workout plans that we've been able to give them, I think we'll be fine.
Now, when you were at Vela, it took you guys about 2 years on a brand new program to right the ship and get it rolling to where Vela is now, like they're a powerhouse. Then you went to Weslaco, and it took you a year, and then the second year you guys exploded out the gates.
Yes, sir.
For McHi, what's the progression going to be like? It's a 3-school town, but what's the progression look like?
Well, like I said, with a lot of guys that we got coming back with that experience, and then being in a new district, yes, it's going to be tough, with all those schools in that district. But, I'm very, very proud of our kids for the work that they have done. And you've seen a whole lot more leadership from this next class that's going to be seniors. And you're even starting to see leadership from those sophomores who are going to be juniors because I think they're starting to understand the big picture, and they're putting in the work. They're putting in the work. So, for us as a coaching staff, we want this to be a good year for us, an exciting year. I think the kids want it to be a good year and an exciting year, and therefore they're working the way that they are.
You know, if you could look back at your season, what's the one positive that you can take away from it besides what you just mentioned? And then, like, what's one thing that you, if you could have tweaked during the season, you would have maybe looked at?
Probably, special teams a little bit more. I think we created some errors there on special teams. We let some things get away from us in that part of the game that we can't allow to happen. We weren't able to block any punts this year. We got to be able to get back there and create some havoc to punters. Defensively, I think our defense did a good job this year. They caused a lot of turnovers, but I think there were situations in games where it just takes one play, man. And if everybody's doing their part, or if everybody just understands the scheme fully, we don't have those hiccups. And then the same thing on offense.
But it's got to be nice. I mean, your first head coaching gig, you get McHi, and I had two basketball coaches on it earlier, and they're at Harlingen South and at Los Fresnos. And where you go for your first head coaching job means a lot. I mean, I don't know if you looked at that when you were picking the job, but where did it factor in that McHi was, a McAllen school for your first gig?
It was a big opportunity. It was something that you always have to factor in our profession. You know what I mean? This school, McAllen High School, has always been a school I've known about since before I even moved down here. And so I knew there was a huge tradition. When I moved here, when I was at Vela, the first scrimmage we ever had was against, McHi, and so it was just pretty neat, to see that purple and gold. And it took me back to, my days in college being at Hardin-Simmons. And I love those colors. And to be a part of it and be able to put my own thumbprint on there as the head football coach here, it's a great opportunity. And I'm so thankful for it.
All right. So now that you have all this coronavirus stuff going, you've had some time at home. You got to spend some time with your kids, quality time. I noticed you've been doing some workouts with your daughter, some push-ups with some high fives.
Yes. My kids are really into the TikTok thing right now, so I'm still trying to catch up with them. But, you got to look at the positive of the coronavirus. I mean, like you said, being home with your family, I've got to learn a lot about my kids. I got some singers, I got some jokesters, I got some comedians, and I got some dancers around here. So it's pretty neat to be around here more and get to be around my family and enjoy them.
You're working out. What do you have your kids doing? I talked to some coaches. They're doing Zoom with their kids. How are you tracking your kids right now? Your players.
Right now, we're doing a lot through our Google Classroom through the school district. We're doing a lot of character development, curricular through there. They're getting on there and watching videos and answering questions for us. And then also we're being able to go on there and still get our position meetings in, and just kind of keep their mind fresh on the game of football. And what they got to do, once all this is lifted and we get back to it, that way we're not behind and taking any steps back in that aspect of it.
All right. I got some off the field kind of questions. Right now with your kids, what are you watching with them? What are they making you watch? Because there's a lot of downtime right now. What are you watching on Netflix or wherever you're at?
No, we watch more The Descendants. We watch that. That's the Disney's. Henry Danger is another one I've picked up a lot on. And then there's one more, I can't remember the name, but a young lady playing football in high school, and she's the star quarterback of the Bulldogs. So it's one we've caught up on Netflix, as a matter of fact. So we watched that whole season already.
Have you started watching All-American yet?
I have not, but it looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, the football's horrible in it, but it's all you got right now for new types of football.
Yes.
But,
yes.
All right. Well, I guess here's my last off the wall question. Is this one? Your top five. I asked the basketball coaches earlier in the day what their favorite basketball movie was. Your all-time favorite football movie and why?
My all-time favorite football movie. I'm gonna go with Remember the Titans. That's my all-time favorite football movie. One, Denzel Washington, favorite actor, makes you feel like you're right there in the movie. Two, a lot of life lessons that are taught. teaches kids how to come together to win as a team. You know, and the history behind it, it's a true story.
Oh, that's awesome. Herman Boone, yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then when you're in the locker room, this will be the last thing I'm going to ask today. I'll let you go spend time with your kids. When you're in the locker room, how many times do you like look at a Denzel Washington, like, you know, his speech, or one of those football ones? How many times do you watch something before you go in that locker room?
Maybe once or twice. Maybe once or twice, just to kind of get my mind right, and then go into that locker room. You give that talk, you give that speech. While you got them for that short amount of time, you got to make sure you get right to the point and you get the message right, and that way they can stay locked in and be ready to rock and roll.
Did you have one of those moments this year, like where you were in the locker room and you saw the kids get it?
Yes, for sure. Had a few of those, as a matter of fact. Yes, sir.
How does that feel when that happens? Because I mean, I coach basketball, but it's not the same when you got, you know, all those guys right there. How did it feel for you when you saw it click?
It felt good, man. You get chills going down your arms. You can see it in their eyes that they truly believe, you know, that we can go out there and have an opportunity to win a football game. And so when you see that in them, and you see, you know, you have their undivided attention, it gets chills down your body, because you know that something great can happen once we all come together and put our minds together to get the job done.
Do you already have your theme for next year? You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. You know.
Say that again.
You don't have to tell me what the theme is or what you might be looking for. But do you have something in your mind right now of like where you're going to go? Like, you know, I think last year was it family last year?
Unity is a secret last year. We got one for this year. We do have one for this year.
Oh, you do?
Yes. You were cutting out on me a little bit.
Oh,
but we do have one for this year. No, you're good, brother. We do have one for this year. You know, we've already spun it off to the kids right now. I think I'll hold it in the bag for a little bit longer if you don't mind. And then after that, you'll see it. I think everybody will understand.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Coach, I appreciate you spending the time to do this interview with me, and I hope you get back on the field quicker than everybody's expecting.
Yes, sir. Me too, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Coach. Coach Patrick Shelby of the McHi Bulldogs.